Yeah, this was a whole problem, but it was no problem. No problem, you know. And it's funny how this played out. It's a problem for people, me not being here, but it's actually no problem that I'm here. It's funny. You see the picture, there's a dude teaching his son how to tie a tie. And, this going to be quick. I actually was supposed to do this video last night. Then some guys came on. I was supposed to do it this morning, but then Gold Professor took a little bit longer on his broadcast. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it right quick now. It's not gonna be long. But the man is tying a tie for this young man and he's showing it to him. He can only teach him how to tie a tie if he's willing to listen. And a lot of times the youth conflate certain issues, even older people try to mix the two. The truth is the truth. I'm not talking your truth, I'm talking the truth. It's a difference. And when you deal with that, that becomes an issue. Shout out to the people that's coming in. Shout out to everybody that's coming in. But when it comes down to it, you got to look at it like this. I can be here to help you, or I can be here to hurt you. There are a lot of men that give advice to hurt. There are a lot of men that help you by stroking your ego, but in actuality, they're still hurting you. So when it come down to it, it is what it is. We can all say that the old heads are not teaching us nothing. That means you just listening to the wrong people. It's not my fault that you chose to take advice or put yourself around people that's not that quite knowledgeable, that really don't understand certain things, and they're coming from their truth instead of the truth to give advice. I can only teach you what I know. And if I don't know much, then I can't teach you past that. There are some kids that outgrow their parents because the parents can only teach them what they know. In this day and age, you can't have a grandfather teach a child about phones when phones wasn't accessible for the grandparents at their age. There are some grandparents that move with the time, but then also there are some grandparents that sit here and linger in their time. So we always have this old school versus new school discussion, the son and the father. The crazy part about all this, I always got to tongue twist your name, so I'm going to say this. MTGV. Make this go viral TV. Everybody use your title as a tongue twister. But when it come down to it, we have a lot of issues with the young guys in this space, and we have issue with the older guys in this space. Both try to help. The young try to help the old, but sometimes the old just not listening because why? They're still living in their time. Then you have the older ones that live in the present time and they just don't understand. Like, I'm in your time dealing with you. Why can't you deal with me according to this? And it always has an understanding to where we have issue with each other. We have You know, this whole back and forth war, gender war. Even with the women, women have this struggle. There are a lot of women in the space that try to talk up for the black man and get discredit. Then you have a lot of women that don't talk up for black man and get discredit. So it's a lot out there. The young versus the old. It's in the man space, the woman space, and throughout. You have older guys discrediting not so much young, but guys that around their age, but they don't know nothing. And like I go back to saying, I can only teach you what I know. If you surpass me, am I going to be mad? No. The youth should always know more than the elder, growing into themselves. But you're not going to know more than me just being a young man. And we hear this all the time in this space. The young boys say, I know this, I know that, I know this. You don't know this, you don't know that. It's okay. You live life, but you ain't lived this type of life, or you don't know this or know that. There's a lot of stuff people know and choose not to, put out in the public eye. You know, I was on a panel yesterday, and I'm gonna be brief with this because it don't need entertaining. But the room was silent when I walked in the building. It was silent, but it was all smoke when I wasn't in the building. Not saying that I was going there to start a fight or war or anything, but I wanted to see that same energy when I was there versus when I wasn't there. Sometimes it's good to just watch and listen in the clouds because you can understand who are real friends or who just saying they're friends, you know, and perfect. Before you get the smoke, remember you always get the fire. And like I said, I tell it many times, this is YouTube. I don't know most people. I know Kane. I met him. We've been at each other's house. I know Gold Professor. I met him in person. I know Smooth. I met him in person. Other than that, those are the only guys I've met in person from this chat. Now, there's people I talk to outside of this space. Alonzo being one of them. Not just for insurance. We talked on some just common knowledge and talking stuff as well. So, steel sharpens steel. You know, I will give you my number and talk to you outside of this space according to the way you move. But some people you just never know until they show their hand. Like I said yesterday, there are a lot of people who wear masks and you can do all the deception, the misleading direction for them to take the mask off. You got to understand, if you've been wearing a mask for 15 years, you're good at keeping that mask on. You know, people who have made it to be adults, they know how to move around with a mask on. And a lot of people don't understand that. So, when time being, you take the mask off, the true you comes out. But like I say, no problem. I still talk to people. Even though I know how your hand is being played, I'll still talk to you. I'll still give you information. Because in regard, I see that you need help. I see that you've been misguided somewhere, that you're taking certain things personal or feelings about something. And the words go professor. Hit it one time. But yeah, man. I got you perfect. I drop you. I drop it to you. But when it come down to it, man, the back and forth on YouTube, I get it. It's YouTube. The back and forth offline, I don't see that. You know. And shout out to Toya. Toya was in there with us. Yeah, y'all two first came in, but yeah, it was some stuff going on. But shout out to Toya. You know, I'm kind of picking and choosing right now who I'm shouting out to because normally I just hit you to highlight you as you come in and try to stay on topic. But yeah, the situation, and I wanted to get to the bottom and get some understanding. But as my friend once told me, what's understood is understood. So it's nothing more to be said. And I left it alone. A wise man told me to leave that situation alone because it's not concerning me and they're not hearing me. So if you can't hear me, you can't understand me, I'm wasting breath trying to talk to you. Whether it be old, whether it be young. I go back to saying what my grandma say. A lot of guys say we can't learn stuff and do stuff from women, but that was one of the women that told me there's no difference than an old fool and a young fool. An old fool is a young fool who never advance. They continue living life as a fool. And like I go back to saying, there's a lot of people who only learn a limited, you know, knowledge. I'm just gonna keep it clean, just a limited amount of knowledge. And they can only teach what they know. Now, you have these younger guys coming in trying to surpass with their knowledge of using Google, being a YouTube scholar, and just overall having talking points from someone else. So when it comes down to it, they know a little more. They understand. They've been in, you know. I've always said if I want to come on this space and be a police officer, I can study Charles Faulkner, see how the way he talks, look up some code books, look up some regulations regarding being an officer, training. Everything's online. And then proceed to come on here. And I don't have to be Charles. I can be Willie Forrester Jr. Not Charles Faulkner Jr. Willie Forrester Jr. But we're going to keep it. Instead of saying Charles, I could say Corey. And instead of saying Faulkner, Forrester or Forrest. Either or. But add that junior on the end. Only certain people will get that. But when it come down to it, that's just going to be it. You know? Because that's what they do all the time. You know? Village. That's what they do all the time. But come on this space, listen to someone in here, and perceive to be that person. And when they don't have all the knowledge and expertise, you know what they do? They go back to become YouTube scholars, going in there, research and doing more. And a lot of people, I listen to them and I hear they book smart. I can read this stuff from a book and cite it word from word off memory, you know, and that's good. But when it would actually really count, the knowledge that you read in the book, you're not putting it into action. The knowledge that you're putting in, that you're reading out of book, you're not putting it into action. And when I say put it into action, it's one thing to learn in a book how to change a tire, but to physically go out there and change a tire is something different. It's one thing to look at a book on being a historian and for you to actually go out there and look for fossils, digging up bones and reciting history from all the stuff that you've read, you know, going into museums, breaking stuff down from there. That's a big thing, you know. But when it comes down to it, like I said, Google expert, YouTube scholar, and you know my favorite, talking point guru. But at the end of the day, like I said, no problem. You lost. I know. I can help you. If you choose not to get the help, it's okay. It's okay. I don't have a problem with it. But the point of it is, like I go back to say, you only can help those who want to be helped. I can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. It's not in my best interest because it's like talking to a doorknob. That doorknob won't talk back. It'll be effective at its job by locking and closing when I push the doorknob. But other than that, that's his only option, only job. So, be that as it may, guess I think I'm just going to wrap this up because at the end of the day, it's no smoke. I can only teach you if you're willing to learn. You know, the grasshopper always starts somewhere. Young, you could be a young, wise grasshopper. You got to start somewhere. You know, I've been reflecting on some stuff, and YouTube is funny like that, man. Some people come on here to get it off. You know, get out their feelings. Because personally, as my avatar, not too many people come on here and reveal, you know, things about them, which being, to a certain degree, who they really are or their true self. So, hey, it is what it is. You know, I've always shown the picture of my face. What I have to hide for? You know, I don't do anything to people for doxing me. I don't entertain beefs. You know, yesterday I joked at some stuff, but it was nothing to really be entertained. But at the end of the day, entertainment is entertainment. It is what it is. So I'm about to go ahead and get off of here. And till next time, like I always say, we here and we gone.